Hello. Hi, everybody. Uh, Hi, everyone. I was not going to go live because, as you can see, it's 9 here. I like to go live a little earlier, but due to the craziness that I've seen on TV with these ICE raids, I just had to speak. I might even have a panel. And then I also looked up something. Hi, everyone. I looked up something. See, I have very minimal makeup on, just a little bit of light eyeliner and some mascara in my lipstick. And no, I am not in a nightgown. I'm in a shirt with my shorts. So yeah. Yeah, the protests in New York they're quite horrific, really. All these trash cans in the middle of the road, and the police literally, it's got to be hard hearing negative things, pig and all these things yelled at you, but they need to learn to not take it personal. People are really mad at ICE and they don't know what to do. And they think now there's no trust. This is my feeling about it. There's no trust. And so because of that, you're stuck in top chat, Mary Jane Doe. I don't even know what that means. I don't have just a top chat even on. But yeah, there's no trust, and they do think they're affiliated with ICE, and they're all working together. And frankly, I'm to the point now where I think that. Hi, MS0426. So, hi, Freeside. So, who here in chat saw the thing where it was in the morning sometime, not early, where there was a couple that got sandwiched in by cars that they're saying is not ICE. Put on some clothes. They're what? They're illegal. What's illegal? Are you talking about me? This is a top. See, it's got lace on the bottom, and I'm in shorts, and it's in the 70s. And it's more clothes than a lot of people I see that do streams. Anyway, you won't see all the comments, Mary Jane Doe? Well, how do I get... Oops. I don't know. How do I change that? Okay, so yeah, thanks for being here though, Tropico Dreams. Nice of you to say hi. Did you guys see where these two cars just went in and sandwiched this car in, basically hit this car? Did order for the driver to step out. He did not. And they did not the pepper spray, but the bombs, not the bombs, but you know what I mean, the smelling device that isn't the spraying pepper spray, anyway, into his car, and a woman got out with two little babies. Yeah. People are outraged. They're calling it practically a hit and run. Now it's all over the internet. That was today, this morning in Bury Line or something, California, but I'm not for sure on that name. So if you type in so-called hit and run, babies in car, ICE, boom, it'll come up. And people are absolutely outraged, and I don't blame them. Now they're saying that it was a guy they were trying to arrest who punched a cop in the face. Maybe that's true. Maybe it isn't. I just don't know anymore either, because I really, the thing is, I think the protests in LA for all the millions of people in that city were pretty fairly calm. I mean, for all the people that are there. And when people are questioning different creators, I won't say their names, but their lives say it all, calm protests with a question mark. Yeah, for the amount of people, and when they were there, except for the agitators, they're called, it was calm. It was, except for the agitators. And that can't always be helped, in every situation, in every city. You're going to have those, they call them agitators. And I've said for 5 days now, I am not for hurting the police or destruction of, buildings and the graffiti and spitting and throwing rocks and destroying cars and setting things on fire. They all do need to be arrested and do their time. But there were thousands of peaceful protesters, ones that just walked carrying signs. That's who they're talking about. Hi, Relentless. Thank you. Much love to you. Okay. MS0426 says no, haven't seen them, but have seen other things over the past few months related to these events off independent news. Show status. I don't know if you meant to put quo like yesterday, or this is status coup, I think. Yeah, and there is face recognition, and they will get caught, and they want them to get caught, and they keep reiterating that. But boy, in New York, like I said last night, they're just not messing around. I mean, it's one thing. I mean, this is the thing. Even if someone's running from you that you're about to arrest, can't maybe two more guys with you, or even one, chase after this person instead of jumping on them and slamming their head and breaking their glasses and nearly breaking their back? One guy was just crying in pain. I need a backboard. I need a backboard. He looked like he was in his middle 20s. I just think the so-called arrests are just too much. And I saw horrific things in Chicago too yesterday. So from what I've seen, LA has been the most calm in a way, except for that second day of, cars being, police cars being lit on fire, and those Uber ones. That's why things won't get as bad as they did in LA. That's NYPD. They are aggressive. Yeah. And I've heard that they're aggressive 5 years ago or something, about whatever. I heard it on the news, and I believe it after what I'm seeing. And, aren't they supposed to be shooting those, not pellets, but are they sort of like paintballs, but not really paintball guns? Anyway, those blue foam things at your feet? No. In New York, anyway, they're like shooting them right at the people. And it's so ridiculous. Really upsetting. We need to make it more difficult to move here, says Hopper. Hello, Hopper. Yeah, I mean, I all this craziness, I mean, the borders just being wide open like that didn't seem right to me. But the thing is, families are starving and their harvests were way down. And I mean, I saw a program just trying to take some kernels of corn, if they could find them, and mash them in a bowl to feed a family of 4. Like, it's really sad. And you're going to do whatever it takes. You just are. In any one of you that is against all these ICE raids, if you ask yourself, if I had a family, or even if you didn't and you wanted to survive, would you sneak over a border? I would. I mean, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying it, but I would. F the due process. You're illegally, you've done damage to taxpayers' money, abuse it now, deport, says Greg. Well, the thing is, and I'm glad people are sharing their opinions on this. It doesn't upset me. I'm glad you're here. Laura Stevenson's Life says it's illegal. What is bothersome is that they're instantly, without any due process, without letting their families know they're even back in Mexico, they're deporting them, many of them, the same day they're arrested. That's why I'm doing this live. I was just shocked at the expediency, on purpose, by you know who, our president. This is why They're all being done quickly all over the country at his request. Yeah, not fair to the immigrants that come here legally. But this is a thing too. What I looked up first was, what about, the so-called anchor babies or whatever? Now, that doesn't even matter that much because back in, I believe it's 1848, and it had to do with Chinese national wanting to be able to come over who wasn't a legal citizen, um, to be with his family or something. Now I can't remember all of it. Plus, I had my heart attack in April. My memory's even worse. But happy Wednesday. Hey, Daniel Berry Sports. There was a law put into place, a constitutional law, that if you're born in the US, you're considered a birthright citizen. But guess what? Because Trump knew he was just going to put the hanger out there for all the cities in the states. He knew all this. That's why he had that abolished. And I read it because I looked up stuff. Practically the day he became or was sworn in on the 20th. And that's when, remember, states like mine, Washington State, it said Idaho, Oregon, Nevada, and now 22 other countries, are going to the courts and saying, hey, you can't be doing these sweeping raids. Bryn, people who are clueless like you, Extreme, are part of the trouble, you effing demon rat. Wow, leave the US for a communist country. They're burning the US flag, says James Ferguson. Yeah, because they don't feel it's America for them. I saw another man slapping it on the ground. You have to know that the anger derives from fear. It does. And what's really upsetting, and another reason I'm doing a live tonight, is a grandfather, okay, an older man outside of a church was dropping off his granddaughter at this church and was arrested. Apparently it's, someone had film and they asked him his name and this and that. That is sickening. That's sickening. Laura Stevenson's life, having kids on purpose so they can come over, is effed up. And Trump did us right. Well, this is the thing. One president says it's okay. So these women, you can get pregnant without even trying. And then boom, the rules are changed. To no surprise to me, I'll tell you that right now. I've always known that he's racist. Clear back in the 70s, he wouldn't rent to African American people along with his dad. So how can any of this surprise anybody? And, well, it is upsetting, Bryn. I like your name, Bryn. It is upsetting. And there's nothing wrong with me except the criminals and the felons and things like that do need to be arrested. But there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people that aren't immigrants that think this is unlawful, scary. It's like a kidnapping. Another woman was dropping off her 4-year-old at a daycare the other day and got arrested. Okay. Older lady seamstress got arrested. And then today I saw in Nebraska, all these people were so scared. They were like hiding up in these on these shelves and stuff, because ICE just showed up, and it's terrible. If you burn our flag, go back to where you came from. PCT. What about Obama and Clinton when they deported also, remember? Oh, that's okay, MS0426. Nothing phases me. I've been through so much cyberbullying on here. Honestly, between that and my ex and my son's issues, that's why I had a heart attack. But so I don't allow anything to get to me anymore. People could call me the worst names on here, and I just wouldn't even, it just doesn't faze me anymore. It's very weird, but it's the truth. See right here, Bryn, you're racist. I know I'm not. So, I mean, Um, 'tis 7600. If you're scared, MFKA, go to church. I'm not scared, but people are. They're afraid to go to church. They're afraid to go to school. They're afraid to go to the hospital. They're afraid to go to the store. They're afraid to walk their dog. They're afraid to get in their car. You're not safe anywhere. And these children, okay, that were born and they don't even have like legal citizenship yet or whatever the case may be. I mean, families are being ripped apart, you guys. There needs to be due process. And it doesn't seem like there is. Um, Bryn, America is not a third world country, law and order. Okay, if there's so much law and order with Trump, why did all those people storm the Capitol on his watch? Pretty much his watch. Why? Because he wanted them to. Okay, he knew the Proud Boys were going to be coming there. He tried to overthrow the election. Many of us know this, and even many Republicans know this, but they won't admit it. They won't admit that, you know, Biden won fair and square. But the thing is, that's lawlessness. And just like Governor Newsom said, how dare he speak about law and order when he didn't, he's the farthest thing from it. I mean, geez. Okay. I'm not talking about my personal life anymore. I've been an open book. If you guys want to know about my life, my livelihood, all that kind of stuff, you can look back at my videos. I was born in South Dakota, and I've lived all kinds of different places because my parents got divorced when I was 10, and I've been here since 1991 because my ex-husband and I, who's an ex again, remarried, which doesn't happen very often. First time in the 80s and then in the 90s because we figured, well, we're a little older. But no, when you have alcoholism and that kind of problem in the family, it's not going to last very long. So, and then I never moved back to the Midwest. I sacrificed basically being able to see and be with my family often so my children didn't have to leave their school and their friends and stuff because I knew what that was like moving here and moving there. So there's lots of videos. This video isn't about me. People can attack me if they want, but it's not about me. It's not about what I do for a living. It's not about any of it. Any of it. It's about these poor people that are being snatched off the street, not even allowed a phone call, not allowed to talk to a lawyer, and they're just plain deported, period. Okay, so hello, Freedom. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the place is different cities are getting trashed because people are angry and scared. Lisa S., you look like Lulu, but I'm not sure if you are. Um, yeah, you haven't been around a long time. I don't even do lives this late, like for the East Coast or Midwest, because I'm trying to stick to a regular sleep schedule because that's important for me and my health. Yeah, I'm an open book, all right, but I also know when to not get into mob mentalities on here. Okay, right here. CNN. I watch Live Now Fox. Okay, they're not even allowed, the reporters, to say what they might really be feeling. And I found that out from Andrew Kraft yesterday. I was assuming it because you could never tell, or the people that are running the newscasts out of Arizona and all the other places. So that's what I watch. I don't watch, I'll peek at ABC and CBS and NBC. CNN, not so much. It doesn't even, I don't even know where it is on my StreamYard TV thing. But they're sticking people on planes and sending them back that day. To what? Okay, when I'm about to read you is they literally said dropped. He was at the airport. They said just cross the bridge. No money, no family, no nothing. And it's all very easy. You have to remember, put yourself in their shoes for a moment, just for a moment. Okay? We're Americans. We were born here, a lot of us, or some of us weren't and had to do the right thing, right? And get visas and stuff. But not all of us have money. Not all of us have parents that have scholarships that go to a school. That's one creator out there. Not all of us were starving to death. Yes, there was war in some countries. And, but what about, I mean, this is a thing. These kids, now if they go to school and they're here illegally, they're children, so it's the parents' problem and situation, they're in trouble. And if you don't go because you're scared, then you're probably in trouble. Ooh, why isn't so and so here? And I just can't imagine. I can't imagine what it would be like to be on the streets. Like I saw some woman who didn't even come over the border of Mexico and was grabbed by men. They've since released her, but they assumed that she was talking negatively about, now I can't remember, but something. They investigated it for weeks and weeks, and then she was finally released. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. So, and that's okay. That you guys can come in and say, hey, and you can jump right out. That's okay. So, oh, hello, everybody. Terry Martinez. Any name that I've missed? Okay. Well, that picture of Lisa S. Maybe it isn't Lulu. Anyway, she looks so familiar to me. Well, but there needs to be due process, Lisa. You don't just grab people. You don't let them have a lawyer. You don't even let them have 3 days where they've been arrested to get a lawyer, because what if they're not here legally and they're just sent? What about their families? What about families who, the mother stays home with the children, the father goes to work, and then he's just taken? That's happening now, you know? So, yeah. Now, when Leanie was in here last night, I really couldn't understand what she was so upset about, because she's, a Republican or whatever. And she knows I'm not. We're friends, or I thought we were. And I say that because the next thing I know, she asked me what color I am, and I said white. And when I listened to her, like practically in the beginning, the first 5 minutes of her talking, she said she was white. She said that word, white. I was like, oh my God. So why is it so laughable and funny when I say I'm white? I mean, I am. I'm Caucasian. I'm white. And she said that 2 days ago. And, but her response in my chat was, I'm all the colors. I don't get it. And I feel like if you're my friend, you're not going to try to embarrass. Or I wasn't embarrassed. I answered truthfully. I mean, that's what I say on dental and doctor things. They ask, your national or not your nationality. They ask your whatever. And I put a check in Caucasian, you know. So I found that interesting, and I was wondering, why is she so upset if she's a Republican? Because honestly, you Republicans, I'm just going to say it, are getting your way. They're just going through and just arresting and detaining people. And the cops are doing it now too, and they're getting pretty darn rough. And, it's not just ICE. And it's just, the people that should be upset are Democrats, and the people that should be hurt and freaking out are people that care about immigrants. Okay, not having a live that says peaceful protests like that's some big problem. And then there's creators out there that are assuming that all the arrests and everything that's being shown is so that we'll feel sorry for the immigrants. No, it's all being shown. Okay, I saw a cop, a lady cop, none of the men would help her, helped this Oriental woman in New York. You might have seen it, Mary Jane Doe. You're from New York. She, her eyes were just squished together for the longest time. She's like, I need water, I need water. And after I don't know how many minutes, I mean, a good while, way over 5. And who knows when it happened before that, when the guy started filming. Some reporter said, what's your name? When were you born? She was born in 1995. And yeah, and she was, you know, in restraints. And the woman cop poured water over her face. So there are good and nice and noble things being shown. But what's mostly happening is really rather negative and scary now, I think. Hello, William Mitchell. Hi, Barbara Smith. I know if you break the law, you pay the price, Barbara. I agree with that. Newsom agrees with that. It's just, you don't pluck some older grandfather off the street in front of a church, in front of his 14-year-old daughter. That traumatizes people. And now, because I'm going to read this to you, anyone that is willing to stick around and hear it, you're being deported practically on day 1. Okay, it's right here. Los Angeles. Less than 48 hours after Juan Fernando was detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement at his job at a clothing factory, he was transported back to the country he had left behind. The 23-year-old member of Mexico's indigenous Zapotec community had been living as an undocumented immigrant in the U.S. with his parents for 4 years. His arrest at Ambiance Apparel in Los Angeles on Friday, okay, this is when it all started apparently, and removal happened so quickly that his parents said they didn't have time to get an attorney. This is why the name of this program is There is No Due Process for the Detained or Arrested Immigrants in America. Maybe there's a few out there, or probably in the past, but it doesn't seem like it too much anymore, because I'll keep reading for you. And by the way, I have to move the chat with my finger, so I'm clear back to Barbara Smith's if you break the law, you pay the price. She typed that at 9:32 and it's 9:42, so 10 minutes have gone by and I haven't been able to see any of the rest. On Sunday, federal authorities dropped him off at an international bridge and told him to cross back to Mexico. His family recounted in an interview with the Washington Post. He told them he thought he had signed a consent to a coronavirus test, but may have inadvertently signed off on his deportation instead. I hope they weren't trying to trick him. I don't know. I'm just not trusting anymore. The way they deported him wasn't right, said his father, Xavier, 42, who spoke on the condition that only his first name be used because he does not have legal immigration status. He said his son does not have a criminal record. He is a calm, working man. We are asking for justice because they violated his rights. Okay, I thought people had rights in America. As protests over workplace raids in California's largest city continued Monday, and the Pentagon announced it would be sending 700 Marines to backstop National Guard troops, immigration lawyers, advocates, and relatives were scrambling to find information about those detained. Mexico's foreign minister said 4 immigrants detained in the raid had already been removed from the U.S., a speed that some advocates said was unusual. The Trump administration has not released a total count of immigrants picked up in the raids that sparked a wave of unrest in LA and demonstrations around the country. But as the protests continued, a picture of who was detained was slowly coming together. The Department of Homeland Security released information on 16 people who the agency said had criminal histories that included charges or convictions of crimes including robbery, drug possession, SEX-UAL battery, according to the agency. DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin on Monday told Fox News that those picked up in the raids represent the worst of the worst. But immigrant advocacy groups say they have collected information indicating that more than 200 people were detained and that many do not have criminal records. Eva Britton, Director of Immigrants' Rights and a senior staff attorney at the ACLU of Southern California, said that among the people detained is a woman who was pulled over while dropping her 4-year-old son off at a daycare. The people who have been arrested are our neighbors and community members and the workers that make the city of Los Angeles run. We know there were arrests at car washes, at Home Depot, really the places where immigrants are just trying to go about their lives and go about their jobs. The administration has sought to ramp up its daily arrest numbers as part of an effort to fulfill President Donald Trump's campaign promise to carry out the largest deportation operation in U.S. history. Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller said in May that the administration's goal is for ICE to make a minimum of 3,000 arrests every day. Since then, the administration has increased its arrest numbers in an effort to meet that goal. A senior DHS official last week credited ICE's enhanced enforcement operations and increased cooperation from local law enforcement partners for the increase in arrests. The senior DHS official said that 2,368 people in the country illegally were arrested on Wednesday and 2,267 on June 3rd. Those numbers are a dramatic increase from the approximately 660 arrests a day that the Trump administration touted during its first 100 days. Officials attributed the increase, at least in part, to the mobilization of other law enforcement units to bolster ICE's operations. These include the FBI, U.S. Customs, Border Protection, Drug Enforcement Administration, Homeland Security Investigations, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. While DHS highlighted the arrests of some of those detained in LA, the agency did not answer further questions about the operation, including whether any employers were among those arrested and how many of those picked up had a criminal record. Immigrant and community advocacy organizations have established a hotline and a rapid response network to quickly assist people facing detention and deportation. As of Sunday night, their emergency line had received more than 120 calls from distraught families, said Jorge Mario Cabrera, spokesman for CHIRLA, the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights. Cabrera said that advocates have obtained information for about a third of those taken into custody, and that they include undocumented immigrants who had been in the U.S. for decades. Okay, so this is clear back on Sunday, and they only had a third of the information then, and now many more have been arrested. Many also do not have legal representation and are being transferred quickly to detention facilities far from their homes, he said. Elena Zhang He Vermeulen was among a group of attorneys who waited for hours Sunday outside of ICE's Metropolitan Detention Center, hoping to speak with detainees. She said she had succeeded in speaking with only one of the more than a dozen individuals detained at Ambiance Apparel, whose relatives she is assisting. We've been consistently deprived access to them. There's a robust coalition of immigration attorneys ready and willing to consider representation for folks if they're kept in California. But we can't do that until we have access to them. It's been effectively impossible. The garment factory operation devastated members of the tight-knit indigenous Zapotec community, which has roots in southern Mexico. Many had been working at the warehouse for years before ICE descended on the location. Here's a picture. The Biden administration ended workplace immigration raids and said merely being in the United States illegally wasn't cause for removal. But Trump has renewed the worksite raids, which can lead to arrests for alleged crimes. They can also lead to the detention and deportation of workers for being in the United States without legal papers, a civil offense. U.S. Attorney Bill Azalea said federal agents were conducting a criminal investigation and served a search warrant on Ambiance Apparel related to an investigation about fake employee documents. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, he's a real piece of work. Saw him yesterday for the first time on TV. Morning Joe on Monday that ICE's raid in the fashion district wasn't an immigration raid, and that authorities were carrying out criminal warrants connected to money laundering, tax evasion, customs fraud investigations. Okay, well, maybe it wasn't then, but it is now. Immigration raids everywhere. When asked on MSNBC whether everyone arrested had a criminal record, Homan replied, "Absolutely not. We're going to enforce immigration law," and said they'd do so, especially in sanctuary cities. Carlos Gonzalez's brother and uncle were two of those detained by ICE. The 22-year-old was half asleep when he got a call and said he could hardly believe it. He went down to the fashion district and watched as several members of his indigenous community were put in chains. He said he felt powerless. "You don't know how to help," Gonzalez said. He was particularly concerned for his mother, who had already lost one son. "It almost hurts more knowing your son is alive, but you don't know how to reach him." Gonzalez represented one of 6 families demanding that ICE liberate their loved ones during a news conference Monday just outside the factory's iron gates. Sons, wives, uncles, daughters held up signs with blown-up family photos. So this Yolanda Johansson Mendez, chief program officer at the Immigrant Defenders Law Center, said her organization has confirmed with family members that 2 people were deported the same day as their arrest. After she heard about the first removal, she said she thought, "That seems really fast. Maybe we got it wrong." But then the next day, we heard the same thing. There you go. And that was Sunday, Monday. I mean, that was 2 and 3 days ago. Hello, JJJ Thomason. Hello, ZM. And it's about compassion. It's about humanity. It's about civil rights, you guys. It's not about, oh, gee, I'm sure glad my parents from another country got us all legally situated here in the US. What if they didn't? And you had brown skin, okay? Or you were any kind of Latino or whatever. I mean, you'd be profiled. I mean, geez. Illegals don't get due process. Neither do the legals. Okay, the ones that Laura, you're probably not in here anymore, and that's fine. But illegal or legal, they're not getting due process. See, I would never say that. I mean, Lisa S., you're being pretty nice, but you're off your rocker, babe. I don't. That's what I've learned about Republicans. I'm just flat going to say it. They're so, and this might not be a very nice thing to say, but I'm going to say it. You guys are beyond getting uptight and feel like if you guys don't believe me or agree with me or feel the way I do, that's okay with me. But I feel like so many Republicans get angry. And I went through this with my neighbor Monique, and I said this last night. She's an older woman, and it was quite a few years ago, and she was always been for Trump. And when I told her I was pro-choice, she told me I wasn't a Christian. And I said, Monique, you had an abortion. And her response to that was, yeah, but I was young and I didn't know better. I mean, we didn't speak for like 2.5 years. Yeah, I had a heart attack April 16th. It's called a Takotsubo, and it's that's another name for stress induced. So, I won't be on here long. I'm not running a dang Cash App and PayPal trying to get money, just like the fire victims in LA, like many creators do. They make money off showing the stuff and whatever it is. And I'm not even monetized. And frankly, I'm glad I'm not. Because seriously, if someone gave me even like $5 or $10 or 20 or something, I'd have a hard time accepting it. Because these are real serious situations and families' lives. It's not something that I don't think any YouTube creator seriously should be profiting off of. I don't. And I felt this way for quite some time. Now, when there's missing people and children and you want to get out there and look and everything, but I don't agree with playing the news, which everyone else can play, and then for hours and hours trying, hoping and trying to get money. I don't agree with it. Hello, DR. Hello, Ting Ping. I don't know how anyone can call Trump is awesome when, I mean, those people stormed the damn White House and he pardons all of them so they can get out. How can that even be okay? Anyone with a brain cell could see that that day was horrific. My daughter was crying. She's 21 now, but she couldn't believe what she was seeing. And what, two or three or four, I can't remember the exact number, of those, police guarding that place unalive themselves. They just could not believe it. Okay? That's disorder. That's lawlessness. Hello, FS. No, no, and no, Laura Stevenson's life. So let me get this straight, she says. You are okay with illegals coming over and raping children, murdering, bringing massive loads of drugs over. That's okay with you. And we as Americans should pay for that. No, I've said repeatedly, and I've always felt this way. The bad apple should be gone. And then you have other people come in here and say, oh, so we were supposed to sit around and wait till bad things happen. Bad things happen everywhere. At least let these people be vetted, if that's the word I'm trying to think of, because there have been people that are just sent off to prisons. And there's quite a few Venezuelans. Just because you're from Venezuelan and you've got more than one tattoo, you're going to be corralled into some truck and on a jet and sent over to El Salvador, a pretty bad prison. So, unless it happens to you, and it hasn't happened to me, I mean, I do the best I can. My son has, his issues, and I help him the best I can and things like that. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not, but one thing I know is I have empathy. I'm an empathetic person. And I don't honestly believe that people who don't see the shamelessness in this and the fear and listen to the tears and all of that, you're not empathetic. You're not empathetic, compassionate people. You're not. How can you be? Yeah, Mary Jane Doe, you just started watching the protests in New York tonight. You're not in the city, thank God, but you were right when you said the NYPD they don't mess around. Max Smith. Hi, Max. The border fence in San Diego was 6 feet tall in 1995 when NAFTA passed. The undocumented flooded the border. Yeah, and what about that? Trump goes on and on. Oh, we're going to have a wall. It's going to be the best wall ever. Yeah, he didn't get hardly any of it done, did he? To even keep him out. Well, yeah, 70% of Americans did possibly vote for this. Um, but so all this stuff can just keep happening and everything. Trump is trying to make it so that some southern cities can only vote on a certain day. Um, he'd like it to mostly be like on a Sunday when he knows darn well many people go to church that day. I mean, he's doing whatever he can underhandedly and outrightly um, to make it difficult for people to vote. That's just weird. Hello, the hummingbird. Okay. All undocumented are allowed a hearing by law. Thank you for saying that. I'm going to leave that up there and hope to God when YouTube takes its picture, it'll be there. I mean, there were rules and laws and things put into the Constitution and all these things, you guys, so that this kind of thing would never happen. And I think Newsom is right. He fired certain officials and everything so nobody and nothing would get in his way. Yeah, my ex-husband served in the military. He guarded the Habu in 1986 at Kadena Air Force Base in Okinawa, Japan. I know, but the thing is, you say, what if Americans went to other countries illegally? I don't think you'd want the answer to that. You know what? If there was no food in America and there was no access to anything and we didn't have crops and we weren't one of the biggest, most flourishing countries in the world, people would be doing that. That's the thing. They would be going over there. You do what you need to do to survive. Have you guys not seen that film where just teenagers are hopping on the top of a train to get over here and falling off to their deaths because they want a better life? No, I mean ting ping. How do they kick illegals out immediately? They must find them quick. There is no due process. They're arrested, put in some jail, put on a plane, possibly that night, and sent back. If Trump deports 1 million in 2025, that is 5% of the total. The hummingbird, 20 million illegals came here over a 4-year period. Way overwhelming, too much, too fast. Drugs, cartels, human traffickers, RAPISTSs, MURDERESs. No, just no, get out of here. Mary Jane Doe. Well, if you're not Rose, she has an account with the same name. I saw it on her computer when she was live streaming. Who is that? Hi, Barbara Thompson. Hello, my sweet friend Tina. Thank you. The DAT 573. Excellent. Tashi's here. Hi there. I got that from the Washington Post, Laura Stevenson's life. She can read all she wants. Where is she getting her information from? She doesn't seem to like actual facts. And I agree, Bryn. Our veterans and homeless people need more help. In this state, it seems like every gosh darn corner has a frickin' outdoor coffee spot. I mean, I'm just not even kidding. You know, instead of building, and I'm in Washington State, and you think you guys have a coffee problem wherever you are. It's like, apparently on the news, there's so many coffee drinkers in this state that there's coffee grounds like in the soil. You can look it up if you don't believe me. And anyway, instead of building another coffee place, why don't we build some shelters for the homeless? I had homeless people parked in literally a block away about maybe 6 years ago. And finally, there was so much outrage because I'm in an apartment complex with a lot of children and stuff that they were moved. So first they were like at City Hall, and then they were moved in a parking lot below these baseball fields. And then they go ahead and they build those tiny houses. But what, 10 of them? I mean, I don't know where all those other people went. Hello, Donna Clark. The stork, too. They are illegals. They have crossed the border unlawfully. You are quibbling on irrational motives. At your age, you look good, but brains wise, I don't know. Well, thanks for your honesty. Both of my parents were teachers, English teachers. My dad was a professor in Lyndonville, Vermont, and my mom was an English teacher in South Dakota. Rose, stop harassing me, says Mary Jane Doe. I don't see her in here. Did you delete that account or something? I can't see her, MJ. She needs to move on already and quit bullying, says Tashi. I don't think she'd come in here and bully. I mean, because I thought, well, for one, I thought she was getting along with Tashi and kind of even with you. And so I don't really think that's her account. She's kind of over making, not mayhem, but, or not making, but being involved with problems in people's chats, especially mine, you know, because I unblocked both of her accounts. I let her over here and we're friends, and she lets me over there. We are friends. Maybe she will put you on a 25-hour timeout. I don't time out anybody on here. Oh, she's the Ting Ping account? Well, I suggest she put her YouTube channel down and go try to help those illegals. I'm in Washington. Those illegals are in California. And yes, I've been there. I've flown into LA. My uncle used to live there. I've been to Balboa. I've been to Palo Alto. I've been to Huntington Beach. I've been to Palm Springs. When I was 10, brought to a darn nudist camp. That was intense. I'm disliking your clip. Angel Loader, a joy seeker. Hello, everybody. Hi. And I tell my mods not to delete people either. And not block and not any of that. Yeah. I get my Social Security. I signed up already. I needed to. My cat having the kittens, and oh my gosh. Hiles 20. They're not American. They don't deserve this. Anywhere in the world, they do the same. Ting Ping. Ting Ping, are you Rose? If you're still in here? Yes, but we did it legally. I mean, really check to see what Mexico does to their illegal immigrants. I don't know what they do. What Time TV? Ma'am, they are not supposed to be here. There's Radical Rose. This is why we don't talk about politics a lot of the time. Yeah, this is what, well, since the riots, or not the riots, well, yeah, some of the riots and the raids and all of that, I've been speaking my mind a little bit, but then usually after that, I read The Wise Heart. But I'm not going to cover that chapter, the next chapter tonight. Yeah, but William Overstreet. Oops. When you say if you come over here illegally, you have no rights, no food stamps, no whatever. So many of these people being detained and arrested, they're working and they're hard workers. And in Nebraska, it was either today or yesterday. I think it might have been yesterday, or it could have been today. Anyway, the 100 people, the 97, and he had 100 workers at this shoot, what was it called? I want to say Food Valley meat packing place were arrested, and they were hard workers. And the man said they were like family to him. They got free donuts on Friday. And I mean, they were hard workers. They were there. So they're not getting SSI. They're not, they might be getting food stamps too, but I'm doubting it because if you work too much, you barely get $30. That's what happened to my neighbor gets SSI and her daughter because her daughter's got issues. And they had a really low amount, or really low food stamps. And then when Biden came in, it went up a little bit before. Clearly it doesn't exist. Pure nastiness. When living in a democracy, both sides of the political spectrum are allowed to discuss world issues without being picked on. If you don't like her views, that just move along nicely. Thanks, Tashi. Oh, this is way back. It's 10:20 now, and I'm like, you're personally inviting me to California, Tina, says Donna Clark. Yeah, you're in California. Max Smith is in California. Well, the reason I was saying you Republicans is what I've seen are a lot of Republicans get kind of more angry, and you've got to decide with them. And if you don't, within minutes, you'll be called names or possibly belittled. I'm not saying everybody, I have friends on here and stuff like that, but it's like, no, you're an idiot, and CNN is fake news. And yeah, there is some fake news on it, but some of it isn't. It all depends. I mean, my friend totally believed, my friend in this town that used to live here, she believed that face of Biden in that wheelchair at that nursing home from CNN, okay, which was, photoshopped or whatever it's called, was him. And she said he's dying in a nursing home. And I said, no, he isn't. He just spoke today. Oh, that was an imposter, she said. What? I mean, and then when I didn't agree with her, she got angry with me. And now we just kind of say hi on Messenger. We're not even really that close because she was starting to like freak me out a little bit. Yeah, no, listen, the Democrats are not perfect either. And it was making me nervous with the borders just open like that. I mean, it really was. I mean, of course, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, for lack of a better word, is going to come over, right? But the families that have lived here a while, and I mean, just we all need due process. They need due process. They shouldn't be treated. Not every undocumented immigrant should be treated like a criminal. That's how they're treated. You've lost friends over politics, Barbara Thompson. Yeah. Yeah, Barbara Smith, I'm pretty sure I gave a wrench to. Let me hit on this one. Is it even going to show? Um, that's not even her logo, that bee thing, or her avatar, Radical Rose. That white bee in that turquoise circle, that's not her. And if it is Barbara Smith, I apologize, but I don't think it is. Where where is it now? Shoot. Hi, Sherry. Wild Angel's Bucket List of Adventures. PCT, there's a lot more to all this than what you have researched or heard. Trust me, I dug deep to find out the truth, but you got to understand we all have our own opinions. Best to let this be just that. Well, I thought some people got due process. And when I found out people were put on planes and flown back Friday night, I had to do a live. I mean, it's 10:30 here. Um, Rose, stop blocking people. Is she blocking people? Oh, I did give her a wrench. Well, I mean, remember, Rose, we don't block. You can hit those three dots, right, if you don't want to read people's comments, but, and I can say that to you because you don't believe in blocking, remember? Yeah, I do remember Rachel Morin, and that's just horrible. Horrible. Yeah, Rose, if you're timing people out and doing all that, please don't. Just like you've said to people, if you are, I want to get along. Hi, Jake. Because Tashi does like me. And if she didn't before, why does Tashi have a wrench here? She doesn't even like you, Tina. That's probably a female because a male, even though the name's Jake, a male wouldn't give two shysters. And if she used to have an issue with me, she doesn't anymore. Hi, AK 47. He says, hey, at Radical Rose, how is Maine? And by the way, I love your dancing. Yeah, she's so good with her toes. She's like a ballerina. Okay. Hi, Kelly. Bryn. Tina is one of the sweetest, nicest women you will ever meet. She cares for everyone. Well, thank you. Hi, Jania Griffin. Girl, shut up. I can't stand you liberals. I'm a black woman born and raised and still living in Los Angeles. Mm. Max Smith, we will soon learn about the cause of the Palisades fire. It will be a shock. Oh, wow. Hugh Mann is here. Fascism is at our doorstep. I agree. You guys are sparring with each other in the chat, so I'm just peeking at all that. Oh, good Lord. Intel Prize, iWeb developers. AK-47, I'm nobody, but I got a lot of haters. How can you have haters? Well, I'm just passionate about my feelings, Bryn, just like other creators talk about their feelings, you know. Oh yeah, there's got to be illegal immigrants in Washington. Pretty probably there probably is. All right. My kitty cats are doing great. The kittens are a year and like 8 months old, the kittens. So, you know, they're grown, but they're still kind of slendery looking, because you know they're half Maine Coon, so their ears are short and they got these pointy faces. And I filmed them. I let them in my room the other night. It's hard to have them in here when I'm doing a live because they want to crawl up on this table. See, I'm on a little table, and things like that. And if I have to recharge something, they like to chew on the cord. Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to talk about sock accounts. Who has a sock account? Who doesn't? Because half the time you have these imposters, right, in here. And I mean, they're not even the real person. People in different areas who are watching different things, who see different things, are going to have a different perspective. Yeah. It's an honor here, AK-47. Hello, Isaac. Welcome. Mary Jane Doe is my head mod. She's my head mod. She's always in here. She's a good friend of mine. I know her in Messenger. I've known her for, my gosh, over a year now. And that's her real avatar. But the thing is, you can still be cloned with a wrench. I've seen it in my chat 2 years ago. Well, okay, Sherry, especially when they're getting cash and free medical and housing while here illegally, which takes from programs for citizens. He wants to take that from Americans. He does. He does. And people that can barely pay their copay now, the copays will go up, and people will die. And he doesn't want everybody to have free medical. And he doesn't, it's up to him to decide, I guess, who's on SSI. My son has real mental challenges, as you all know. He's comorbid, so he has like a lot of them. And it's all through, divorce and all the gosh darn POT. He smoked as a teen, which I didn't even know he was doing. It was when he was over visiting his dad. I thought he was playing like PlayStation with his friend. And he told me what was really going on over there. But when you stop doing that, you can get really bad anxiety, all kinds of things. I don't know who this Jake is, but don't fight with Mary Jane anymore, please. Yeah, see, Mary Jane Doe, you don't fight. That's the thing about you. When you say, I think she's mad because I won't fight with her, she's not worth it. I don't know if you're talking about Jake or who you're talking about, but that I do know about you. In my chat, you're not confrontational. And if you are with anybody in anyone else's chat, I don't know, because frankly, I don't have time to like go into YouTube channels during the day or anything anymore. Hi, Curtis Americano. Ruth McKay. She says due process is for Americans, and it is impossible to give due process to an entire invasion of 10 to 20 million and avoided the law in the first place. You can't have it both ways. Why is Ruth being censored? I'm not, I don't know what that even means. I don't block. I don't, you have your right to opinion over here. I don't know if she's spamming the chat by repeating it over and over again or what, but oh, okay. So well, I saw that in my chat and your name was there. You said I'm all colors and I was kind of stunned by it. But you said white in yours and then you asked me what color I am, knowing I'm white. I mean, do I look black? Do I look like an Indian? Do I look Latino? I don't think so. Trying to get down to the bottom. I got 1041. I'm on 1038 now. That's not true, PCT. MJD always brings me up. Well, not in here. Not in here. I said, I don't know what she does in other chats or if she visits you anymore. I don't know what other people do. Hello, Dimu. Well, some of them are immigrants. Some of them are here illegal. They're not all invaders. And some of them are, and they will be prosecuted. Oh, well, Radical Rose, if you feel you're being harassed, just hit those 3 dots, right? Then you don't have to see what's said by anybody that harasses you the very first time. This is tripping me out. You're a data scientist, Max? Wow. Well, I'm not playing color games, Bryn. I was asked by Leanie yesterday, well, what color are you? Hi, Sierra. Oh, you're funny. Yeah, I mean, I've got some color. If you look at my chest, oh, you can't see that there. A little bit of color compared to my under my arm is pretty white. It's light too. I didn't go out in the sun today. Well, I mean, I went to the mailbox and the garbage and yeah, I do watch back my lives, and especially since half of one live that was on StreamYard, not YouTube Live, was just beyond glitchy. It was so bad. I thought I was going to have to undo the router and modem like every single time before live, but it never happened again. Well, since that time. Okay. Well, you guys don't, have to come in here and fight and like pay any attention to some of it. Michael Amas, the undocumented, or should I say illegals, don't have rights in a country they don't belong to. Yeah, but they're supposed to have be able to have a hearing by law. You're supposed to can be appointed a lawyer, whatever. Now, I just read tonight, and that's why I'm doing a live, that they deported some people on Friday night. Boom, back. Hi, Tattooed Rebel 2229. I know, it's 10 to 11. So it's 12, it's 10 to 2 in the morning over there, where you are anyway. Hey to all in chat. Oh, Lord. All right. Now Lulu's in here. Hi, Lulu. I'm glad you're here, but don't hop in here, you guys, and just pick fights with certain people that are in here that you don't like. You're plenty dark, Sierra. Hello, William Brown. They got their due process when they were caught and released. Goodness. Max Smith says, I predicted the demise of Bear Stearns 9 months before it happened. I don't know who that is. Oh, Lord have mercy. Laura, trying to get with a man 20 years younger, Dolly. He's not 20. He's 12 years younger than me. And when I met him and everything on here, he didn't even have a girlfriend. And if he did, he didn't tell me. And people weren't even talking about it in chat. So what am I supposed to do? Please get your facts straight. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, my God. Hi, Raider. Yo, what's cracking, everybody? Lionel's in here? I blocked Lionel. No worries, PCT. LOL. I see nothing. Hee hee. Lionel's in here, too? Oh. Oh my God. If I use the three dots, I can block people, but you don't block. So, no, I can't. Listen, Rose, I can't keep up with everybody. In StreamYard chat, you have to take your finger and move it. That's why I'm sitting here not reading every little one. And so I don't know who's attacking you, who's being kind to you, what you're even saying back half the time, because I just read parts of it when there's this many people in here. Yeah, it'll block you from seeing the comments. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Lord, you guys. Well, it's 10 to 11. I've been live almost 2 hours. It's been interesting. And yeah, Raider is from California. But yeah. So thanks for being here. And Sierra made me an outro song. And I'm going to play it because it's, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Because people are suffering over there. I'm just not. I'm not going to play it. I can't play such happy, upbeat rap music when people are fighting for their lives on the streets and being pushed back with batons. I saw an old man with a sign 3 days ago. It's all over the place too. Get charged at from a cop. I mean, he was in black. It wasn't ICE. From way back, he just charged and ran the longest distance to get to this man who was clearly in his 70s holding a big sign way far away from him. Almost knocked him back, but I don't think he fell on the ground. It was really, really something. Hello, Shane Meyer. Thanks everyone for being here. If you're willing to, please hit the like. Subscribe to me if you're willing to. I don't know. Like, if you look at some of my past lives, I cover a lot of different things. Not really normally the news that much. And I used to be more into true crime and serial killers around the entire world and disappearances on cruise ships. And there's just so much craziness out there. But I just saw more really unsettling things today, and I needed to talk about it. And if I've misspoke of something that Leanie said, I'll apologize right here, but I was just going by what I read yesterday and what I saw on your live. I could only watch half of it because I couldn't quite understand what Republicans are so upset about when all these people are being arrested and deported and taken care of. I mean, why are they mad? To be mad over some of these protests becoming violent. Well, what on earth is expected? I mean, this is fueled all over the country. I mean, seriously, if we have a civil war, I won't be surprised. I will not be surprised. And then, who can just turn this into a martial law country? And it's upsetting. It's upsetting. I'm really glad everyone came in. The ones that didn't have very nice things to say about me, too. I don't care. I have heard it all. I have heard it all on here. And never thought I'd have a channel, never thought I'd be able to handle one. But when you get older and you've already been through enough in your life, you roll with the punches, so to speak. But thanks for everyone coming in. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. And yeah, thank you to the people in the lilac bushes. was tulip fields last month. It's lilac bushes now. And yeah, I'm going to go. Maybe I will play my song because I have so many people in here, and even Sierra is in here. Wait, which one is it? $159. So this is made on Sumo, you guys, by Sierra Queenpin Clark. Mary Jane Doe already has the dancers up there. And I'm going to go ahead and make this larger. Try to look at the cup, half full, not half empty. And prayers to all of the immigrants, legal and illegal. Hey, paper cuts, red crown, gleam sharper. Supermom vibes, keep the scene in order. Ruby hips move smoother than rich butter. Life's the jungle, she chopping through the utter clutter. Unapologetic, steel in her veins. Flaming red hair, igniting the flames. Trap bounce, turn heads, no need for claims. Tina got the world spinning in her lane. Feel good anthem for the heart to break. She bends, but don't fold. Risk what's at stake. Deep bass drops, hearts quake, earth shakes. Tina on fire, every move she makes. Hardcore grind, she make the rules bend. Fierce mama bear, no time to pretend. Mic in one hand, babe in the other. Queens don't slumber, she a force undercover. Yeah. Molded chaos, wears it like a crown. Life threw punches, but she never stayed down. Dynamic rhythms, put the drama out of town. Paper cut, Tina royalty profound. Feel good anthem for the unyielding crew. Dance floor breaks and defeat like it's new. Rap beats rain, 808s in the blue. Tina's groove conquering, bold and true. Hey, paper cut, Tina red crown, gleam sharper. Supermom vibes, keep the scene in order. Ruby hips move smoother than rich butter. Life's the jungle, she chopping through the utter clutter. Unapologetic, steel in her veins. Flaming red hair, igniting the flames. Trap bounce, turn heads, no need for claims. Tina got the world spinning in her lane. Feel good anthem for the heart to break. She bends, but don't fold. Risk what's at stake. Deep bass drops, hearts quake, earth shakes. Tina on fire, every move she makes. Hardcore grind, she make the rules bend. Fierce mama bear, no time to pretend. Mic in one hand, babe in the other. Queens don't slumber, she a force undercover. Oh, God. All right, one more time. Hey,
lane. Feel good anthem for the heart to break. She bends but don't fold. Wrist what's at stake. Deep bass drops, hearts quake, earth shakes. Tina on fire, every move she makes. Hardcore grind, she make the rules bend. Fierce mama bear, no time to pretend. Mic in one hand, babe in the other. Queens don't slumber, she a force undercover. Yeah. Molded chaos, wears it like a crown. Life threw punches, but she never stayed down. Dynamic rhythms, put the drama out of town. Paper cut, Tina royalty profound. Feel good anthem for the unyielding crew. Dance floor breaks under feet like it's new. Rap beats rain, 808s in the blue. Tina's groove conquering, bold and true. Hey, paper cut, Tina red crown, clean shopper. Supermom vibes, keep the scene in order. Groovy hips move smoother than rich butter. Life's a jungle, she chopping through the utter clutter. Unapologetic steel in her veins. Flaming red hair, igniting the flames. Trap bounce, turn heads, no need for claims. Tina got the world spinning in her lane. Feel good anthem for the heart to break. She bends but don't fold. Risk what's at stake. Deep bass drops, hearts quake, earth shakes. Tina on fire, every move she makes. Hardcore grind, she make the rules bend. Fierce mama bear, no time to pretend. Mic in one hand, babe in the other. Queens don't slumber, she a force undercover.
I fell, but I didn't hurt myself. Bye. Thanks for being here.